Low today. Yeah, see the mute that I have with the main system is currently on as well. Something with the update. Here comes everyone. So good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court this morning. And I've got a little bit of just moving things around. Sometimes when we have updates here at the court, everything changes on our system. So I'm just a little struggle with that this morning. Not a problem. Just going to take me an extra couple of moments. I do welcome everybody to court this morning. And we have pretrial docket today. And just remember that being set on Zoom is a privilege. And if prefer to come to the courtroom, that's not a problem. We can do that. This is by agreement, and we are intending to keep it open as an option as long as we can, since I think that for some folks, it's just it meets their needs a little bit better. So we're trying to do that and keep that as an option. But as I say, if that option is really not actually what you want to do, you can let me know and we'll sort it out together. I do welcome everybody to court this morning, and I do thank everyone for their time. And again, I'm Judge Person. We have a pretrial docket today. I actually don't have a docket today, but we have a pretrial docket today. I do like to give people their options as we move forward. And since I see Attorney Swain and Attorney Mattson already present in the court, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all break out while I do my introduction to folks who I'm not clear have heard it before. And so let me move y'all over. And just Mr. Swain, if I could confirm your sound is working, and Mr. Mattson as well. Let's start with Mr. Swain.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. And Mr. Mattson?
Morning, Your Honor.
Okay, let me move you folks over, and I'll see y'all back shortly. So just while they're meeting, I do want to let you know a couple of things that I always tell everyone. Okay, so when you are given a ticket or issued a citation, those are methods we have under the law for accusing someone. A ticket, a summons, those are accusation points basically in our system of governance. And so I do want to let you know that that's what it is. It's an accusation. You may have heard the term, but it is true that we are presumed to be not guilty. And that just means that the burden at trial is on the state to prove their case before you are required to put on a case at all if you choose to. So I just want to let you know a few things about what options are available in the court and how things move through a court. I can't give you legal advice. Legal advice is where you apply the law to a person's case and tell them what they should do. I can tell you what happens in the court, how things move through court. Okay, so there's a distinction there. And if you are seeking legal advice before we exit today, I do need to know that so that I could schedule accordingly. And there's no problem with that. This is a Class C court, though, however. And so when you seek legal advice, you are looking for an attorney at your own expense, but we accommodate the request by giving time to you and putting your case on hold for a meeting at the court, with or without that attorney. So even choosing to exercise that right doesn't obligate you. It just means that you need some time to do that. And that's actually how you invoke that right. I don't require magic language where you say the right provision of the Constitution or law, as long as I understand your meaning. And therefore you can just say, I need time. Moving forward, after that accusation is issued, we all have what is known as an appearance date on that citation or summons. And that is actually legally a duty that we have, because our rights always have duties associated with them. In fact, without duties, we don't have rights, and without rights, we don't have duties. And those are mutually intertwined items. So I do want to let you know that there's a court date always until the case is completed. I don't have an opinion about the case and whether or not a person is guilty, but as the judge of the court, I'm docking according to the direction that I'm being given by each party. So what I will tell you is that you have when you appear at that first date, that's known in a Class C court as a first appearance date. We don't actually call it an arraignment. I'm not going to go into the legal definitions there. It's kind of boring, but I accept a plea at that point, or, if somebody is seeking that legal advice, I need time. There are three options for entering a plea: guilty, not guilty, no contest. Now, as I said, we are presumed to be not guilty. That's not an innocence plea. We don't have an innocence plea because if we plead innocent, we have to prove it. We have a not guilty plea, which means the state has to prove first. It's a fine distinction, but it's significant in our jurisprudence. If you plead no contest, you're saying, I'm not admitting or denying the offense, but I want to move forward with sentencing. If you say guilty, you're saying, I did this as charged. If you plead guilty or no contest, the direction of the movement through the court is the same. The case moves toward sentencing. If you plead not guilty, the direction is toward trial. And this is a pretrial. It's a convenience. It's a check-in with the court as well as with the prosecutor. Mr. Matson, who exited for a brief moment, is actually the prosecutor. He is the equivalent of the district attorney at the city level. And he does not answer to me as the judge. He answers to the city attorney as if as a DA would, an assistant DA would with a DA. Okay. And so you have a meeting with him today. The case might be resolved or it might not. Again, I don't have an opinion about that, but our next movement is here into the court. We do a setting hearing and then we set everything for trial at that point. Those are mandatory hearings. If you plead guilty or no contest, then I want to talk to you about the direction those take, even though I actually anticipate maybe many of you are not doing that, but I still want everyone to have the same information. So if you plead guilty or no contest, the case is moving to sentencing, and sentencing in a Class C court normally means payment of fines and costs. There are 4 exceptions to that. Having it go on your record and payment of fines and costs. In terms of payment, I look at people's individual circumstances. And I do that with a form that I use for multiple purposes. In the sentencing setting, it's a payment application because I'm looking at people's financial situation, which is different person to person. If we're moving that case toward trial, I eventually try to get that information because I'm required to schedule a bond on the case to set it for trial. So it might be something we either have already done, but I'm letting you know why I collected the information, or something we might do in the future, and I'm just letting you know why I collect it. But it's the same information, and I use one form so that you don't have to fill out. I don't see a reason to call something different and make you do it over and over again. And so that just, I try to stay logical on that. If you plead guilty or no contest, and as I said, payment is need-based somewhat to a large degree, and then having it go on your record was the other thing I said. There are 4 dismissal options that I do think everyone should know what they are and just sort of how they work. On a plea of guilty or no contest, if you have something that is eligible for what is known as a compliance dismissal under the law, then I'm going to go ahead and work toward that dismissal without you even asking if it's an option. If your plea is guilty or no contest, I'll usually just tell you, hey, here's how you gain a dismissal. Do you want to do that? And I presume people would want to do that. So I make some presumptions there. I presume most people would like to save money. I presume many people are interested in their record. So on that one, the law says the judge shall do so. And I presume that you want me to do that. So I begin. And I'm authorized by that language to do so. The second option for dismissal is through the driver safety course program. That's for moving violations, but you have to qualify to be in the program and then complete it properly in order to gain the dismissal. The pre-qualification part, I will just start working with you on a plea of guilty or no contest to see if you're eligible. And if we can get you into eligibility, then I'm moving towards how are we doing this? What I want to say there is that you save money and you keep the moving violation off your record. If you qualify, you still have to pay court costs, though. Every ticket has a court cost and a fine. The court costs actually have to be sent to the state of Texas. The fine stays local. When you pay the court cost, the fine goes on hold. If you get your proper course and proper record turned in on time, you gain a dismissal, and this on hold fine is waived. It's cheaper to take that route than to pay the whole ticket and have it go on your record. And without just boring everybody to pieces, but the important issue, part of why we have courts, has to do with just the rules of the road and driving safety, and evidence-based metrics tell us that people who do that course and go through that process do drive a little bit better for a period of time. And so the law just conforms to what we know about our behavior, and it does keep people more safe. Texas is number one in many instances for death and dismemberment on the roadways, and we are attempting to address that with that program. It's legislatively generated to reflect the reality. So that's the second option for dismissal. The third, and again, I'm looking for that one with you. The third one you have to generate, and here's what I mean by that. It's called a deferred disposition. With a deferred, we often just call it a deferred disposition. Deferred means delay. Disposition means to dispose of, to make final. I delay making your case final. I put a court order in place on paper. It lists the things that are needed for the dismissal. If you do them as written, you gain a dismissal. It's a way to know the outcome. On a plea of guilty or no contest, in a Class C court, you can work with the prosecutor or you can work with the judge to bring forth an attempt to gain a deferral. I'm pretty friendly to it. What I will say is that I will always consider it when requested, but you must make the request. Guilty or no contest, I would like a deferred, is the simple language that you use. Again, not requiring that you invoke, Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Chapter 45. It's just something that we can just have a discussion about. I'd like a deferred, and I'll talk to you about it and consider it. And I can give you a yes or no. Okay. That one you ask. So the first two, I'm working with you. The third one, you ask. The fourth one is called teen court. If I'm missing anything, let me know if you're in high school. I don't know that I have high school students today, so I'm just going to proceed, but it looks a bit like a deferred. It's for students. If you are in middle school, high school, homeschooled, talk to me about it. We'll see where we are. Okay, that's the 101. Gentlemen, on the Chabara case, I may have said that right. If I could just have you check in with me, let me know where we are, please.
Your Honor, Mr. Swain's going to take an offer back to his client, but I anticipate that being resolved before the next meeting.
And Mr. Swain, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, Your Honor, that is.
When y'all say to me, there appears to be a strong leaning toward resolution. Obviously, you're not obligated, but my question is, I have availability as quickly as about a week from now. I would anticipate y'all would need quite a bit more time, or just a bit more time. And so my next available 30 days out would be, let's see, the 27th of February.
I think that would be plenty of time, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor, that should be fine.
That'll be Zoom, I think. Oh, wait a minute. That's a live date. Hold on just a second. No, the 20th. So that'll be the 20th, and I'll reset for the 20th. And just with the understanding, it'll be, if we're not fully resolved by then, it'll be here on the Zoom meeting. Is that acceptable to you both?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
And so I will send that notice, Mr. Swain, to the email that we use on file. Is that going to work for you?
Yes, it will, Judge. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll send that over here shortly. And thank you for your time. You're good to withdraw without further requests.
Thank you, Judge. I have one more case.
That's right.
Delay
case.
Delay, but it's in the same posture.
Okay. Did you both visit about the case?
Yes, Your Honor. It's going to be pretty much the exact same circumstances.
Okay. I like that phrase, the same posture. So we will go to 2/20/24 for a Zoom meeting to either check in or advance forward, with the understanding it might resolve, but obviously you need to confirm with your client first.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, very good. Then again, you are free to go without further requests. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. And then I actually next had Melinda King. And Ms. King, if you could move forward by first letting me hear you, because I want to make sure your audio is working before I push you into a meeting.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Perfect. Oh, loud and clear. Okay, I will move you over to that meeting. And at the end, you've already seen, but you'll come back over. If you can't get back over on your own, the prosecutor will let me know and I'll assist you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Having made that movement, we're really kind of sitting and waiting. I'm going to grab some paper and I'll be right back. I'm not abandoning anybody, but I just want to, since I don't have anything that I'm technically doing right this moment, I want to utilize my time. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab some paperwork. Okay. I'm seeing maybe some nods. Yes. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. What? Somebody Okay. Okay, I'm just here. Did anyone have any questions? I'm not able to talk about your case, but yes, Mr. Parkhill? Were you waving? Oh, okay. You did something and I thought, well, I'll see what that is. Okay. All right, I'm just here. These are the ones I call death and taxes. People who are dismissed because they died. Who does those? Sometimes Melissa, sometimes Aaron.
Hello, Judge.
Good morning, Miss Ellison. Court started about 20 minutes ago. So
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry I'm late. I had to call the court so they could resend me the link because
Okay.
something happened through my email and I lost the link for join.
You're in now and no worries. I might have to kind of back up and talk to you a little bit because you missed the announcements, but I will work on that with you if I see that we need to. Okay.
Okay.
Just
Thank
hang
you.
tight. There are several people ahead of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. King and Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to single charge of no driver's license?
Your Honor, Ms. King and I have worked out an agreement. I
Okay.
would first like to reduce the fine on this ticket, which is currently $100 and the court costs are 81. I would like to reduce the fine to 19, which will bring the total balance to 100.
Okay.
And then once that has been entered, I'd like to place the case on a 90-day deferral.
Are we paying that fee today?
Your Honor, if possible, can I go into paying the fine today?
Yes, the fees.
No, ma'am. If possible, I would like 30 days to have that paid.
I don't mind, but I need to do a 120-day deferral, folks, if we do that. We need time to track it. And
Okay, yes, ma'am.
it's not the only case. So the deferral will, if y'all accept that amendment, the deferral would end May 22nd. And deferred from today until May 22nd, we're going to need signatures with that reduction and payment 30 days from today, which would be February 22nd.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's see. 1, 2, 3. And if I email that to you, Ms. King, and to the email that we use to set this meeting, would you be able to print it, sign it, and email it back to the court today?
If I could take a picture of it with my cell phone and send it back to you, that'll be fine, but I don't have access to a scanner.
As long as it is legible, then I don't have a problem with that. So the way that I would then suggest
Okay,
is
yes, ma'am.
once you email it in, just call and confirm that we've got it and it's scanned. But generally speaking, what then happens is, it scans into your file.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I actually hear that hitting the printer right now. So we should have that to you this morning, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Do you have any further questions?
I do not.
Then you are free to hang up at this time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I will move Mr. Mattson forward with Dale Fuller. I'm sorry, Dale or Dwayne? Oh, I see. Mr. Fuller, let me have you unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And thank you. I'll move you forward with Mr. Mattson and we'll have y'all back shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, Ms. Ellison, this is a meeting with the prosecutor and everybody has one. I like Zoom. We're keeping it, it's helpful for many working folks. It's helpful for folks that are out of town or now have moved on elsewhere. It's helpful for attorneys even. So I'm keeping this docket, but it is by agreement that we're here, right? And once the case is either resolved today or not resolved, I don't have an opinion about that. But what I will say is that then we start moving the case into court because we're needing to move that case toward trial. Some things get resolved and some things don't. And again, I don't have an opinion about that. I'm here to make things move and facilitate certain rights that we have. And so, that we all have, that you have, and we all have. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And I don't have a docket today. Today, it's all the contested docket, the not guilty docket. And we're moving those cases forward. Each one kind of plays out individually. So you'll kind of see some different things happening. And that those are things that, are options that have been made available to folks. So that's kind of it right now. And I'm just signing paperwork.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Cause I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, I did everything you told me to do. The only thing is I can't get into the DPS because I don't have no one. I couldn't find nobody to let me use their car to take my driving test. But I got everything else that I was supposed to do. I just been hard trying to get into the DPS office. I don't have my car.
Okay, hang on just a moment. Okay. I think that's something that you were talking with Mr. Mattson about, but hold on. You were very sick the last time.
Yeah, I had surgery. I was in the hospital
We
last
got
time.
your, let me finish. We got your email. I had called you, your phone wasn't working. We got an email that you were sick. We went ahead and rescheduled you for today. The time before that, I actually talked to you in your hospital bed. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I
And
never forget that.
you were going into surgery and we rescheduled you to try to see if we could get that calmed down. Before that, which was September, you've just had a lot going on. You lost a family member. Let's see. Okay, I had rescheduled you. Yes, okay. I now remember what's happening. And we had a no-show from you the first time. So it's two cases, a license and insurance. And we're at a point where even if you had the license, you don't qualify for what I call the local dismissal without the prosecutor approving that. And there's a not guilty plea, I believe, on the insurance charge. And so I pushed those cases for him to work with you on to see if we can get to a resolution. And he'll be
Okay.
talking with you this morning about that here shortly.
Okay.
So that's where we are. You're going to have that conversation with the proper party. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to mute you for a minute because I need to take Mr. Fuller and Mr. Matson on the Fuller case. And if I could have you both unmute, and Mr. Matson, let's start with you. Let's get an update, please, on a single charge of handicap parking.
Your Honor, Mr. Fuller has submitted an updated placard, so I'd
Okay.
like to move to dismiss this case.
Okay, are you sending that over, or do we have one?
I can send that over this morning, Your Honor.
The clerk is indicating to me that we can do it here, which will facilitate. So we will actually send that dismissal, Mr. Fuller, to the address, I'm sorry, the email that we have on file. Will that work for you?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. We'll send that over sometime today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and you're good to hang up whenever you choose.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm going to move Chris Parkhill and Mr. Matson into meeting. Mr. Parkhill, let's confirm that your email is working. I mean, sorry, your sound.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can. And that means when I move you over, he can hear you too. So I'm going to move you over now. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Let's see. Morning. How are you? I don't have anybody today. I'm just waiting on the pre-trials. So I do. This one I know is yours. I signed that now that we have fingerprints. These are all what I call the death and taxes group. I'm not sure if those were yours or Melissa's. Here's a regular set of compliances. Thank you. Good to see you. We just have staff moving through the courtroom because the door's not closed right now. Oh, lovely. Is that $100 deferred? That's fine. Thank you. It's completion of community service hours. It's lovely. I just imagine these hours out in the community every time. Do you do that? I'm like, ooh.
Church yesterday, I'm not even sure if it's probably one city, but the woman was so excited because this man is actually.
Oh, wow.
Put child on the building.
Oh, my goodness. Good. Well, see if they'll fill out the paperwork.
There's supposed to be someone who's gonna give us a, maybe.
I'll probably take that. Mhm. Yeah, I'll take that.
She's so excited. She's saying,
When we see what that is, I can't put churches on the list, but I can suggest to people, hey, I know this church is looking for help. Any church is good as long as we have an EIN tax exempt status or. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Let me get Mr. Parkhill back over. Okay, let's get an update on the Parkhill case.
Your Honor, pretty similar situation to Mr. Fuller. Mr. Parkhill actually had a valid placard at the time of the citation, so I'm going to move to dismiss that. The court already has it on file.
Okay, I will move that compliance dismissal forward. Are you saying it qualified under statute?
He just forgot to hang it up.
Right, and so on time, within the time frame?
No, it won't be under the prosecutor's motion. It'll have to be a motion to dismiss. If you need me to send one over, I can do that.
I think we're on the same page, but it's not a prosecutor dismissal, it's a compliance dismissal.
I guess so, yes.
Okay, I'll double check it.
Okay.
If that's so, then I need to talk to somebody about why we didn't just do that for him earlier.
I want to say that it might not be because he didn't know about the citation until he got the pre-warrant notice in the mail.
Okay,
So it's probably not compliance then.
okay, boom, it's a prosecutor, they did the right thing then. Perfect, okay. No problem, if we have training issues, I always like to know about them. Mr. Parkhill, I will sign that dismissal here in just a quick moment. I can do it from the request made, so I'm not waiting on anything from him. And we will email that to the email that we used to set this meeting. Will that work for you? I'm so sorry, let me have you unmute, let me trigger that.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, that's fine.
Thank you so much. Okay, very good. Then I will send that to you and sorry, to the email that we have on file. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're good to hang up whenever you choose.
All right, thanks.
Yes. Mr. Tubbs, if you could unmute, that would be perfect. Yeah, so it's a prosecutor motion. This one, yeah, this one doesn't, it's not on time. They attached one, but it's not the right one. Okay, so let me move you over to that meeting. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Right. I'm sorry. Excuse me. These aren't checked off, so is it okay? Is Mr. Fuller on time? This should be what we are doing, I think. Is Fuller on time for court? Did his placard meet the 20-day deadline? That's what this one is. So let's see if it complies. Otherwise, we use this one as not in the best interest.
December 18th. And then January 4th and Ron's 5th.
Okay. And he hasn't had a previous.
No, oh,
Why did he get routed through prosecutor?
I asked about that, and Barry told me that they were not allowed to ask, and they just had to settle before.
Because he pleaded not guilty. That's probably the written plea. What's that sound? Oh, well, I've never heard that sound before. Have you?
I don't know. Miss Ellison,
No, she's muted. It's something behind me. Maybe somebody's vacuuming. Yeah, there's a few things they would have had to ask him that I think they couldn't have. Because he pleaded not guilty. So that makes sense. Did I do Parkland yet? Yes. Is that right? These are all community service people. These are once I sign these, do they go to Aaron first from the box?
oh, yeah, they got it.
And then these go to Aaron, right? The waivers?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. Oh my gosh, my last book caught up with me on their publication coming up. I'll look at it later. I'm not gonna take court time. Let's see. Do we update? Yeah. We install an update on OpenGov, right? Do we have to restart the computer to run it? I'm gonna say no for a minute. I'll do it after court. I was up until midnight doing all those that like 50 cases that came in from code and animal services. I guess Ryan had a backlog. Is that what that is?
I have no idea. That's all that I have since then. Killing.
Mm-hmm. Same. Plus the teen court kids over at Tamara, they made some changes. So I type it for them. It's a little their handwriting. Joaquin's is pretty good, actually. And he's a bit of a shining star over there. But because he reads with expression. And he reads a little bit better than most of them. And not all of them, though. There's some kids that are like demon-like. They just have other things happening for them, but it's all, depending on the kid. But yeah, I cleared almost everything last night because I looked at it and thought, I don't know why I thought today was going to be live court, but then I have a meeting. I know that it wasn't, but in my brain it changed. And I have a meeting with the court administrator after court today. We might have a lengthy discussion. So I just felt like I better get these done. And I typed up, and then I wanted to type their stuff and print it and take it to them. And what that is. Huh. Yeah.
You know, it takes me like 15 to 20 minutes to get here.
Hmm.
No coffee.
Yeah. It's hard to take walking to school. So there for a second. Also, I'm taking Joaquin to, well, now I'm taking Joaquin to get his hopefully licensed learner's permit today. So hopefully that, well, it's not a test. It's just to sit down and prove. Well, I have now, this is to authorize us to learn. He's passed the written, which I didn't feel completely confident about, but he did fine. And then now we have to prove residence and prove citizenship and all those things. And then hopefully they'll take everything that I've got, because I have to be honest with you, it's pretty onerous
Yes.
for a minor. I mean, it's not like he has bills. It's not like he has,
It was just. My gift card that was, his license. So you have to, yeah, and you have to, it has to be. Sent to the place you live, he stops.
Mhm. I'll be right with you. Okay. And so Mr. Tubbs, Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to the single charge of running a stop sign?
Your Honor, I wanted to see if you would consider allowing Mr. Tubbs to do defensive driving. I know it's not his first appearance.
I don't have a problem if you don't have an objection,
I do not.
as long as the case is not in warrant and he's otherwise qualified. Mr. Tubbs, I just answer this for me. You have a regular Class C license, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
You're not a CDL holder, are you?
Not at the moment. I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's not really my concern. So that's your business, but
Okay.
I do need to collect the court costs, which I believe are 144. Let me double check. Can we get those paid today?
I was gonna request if I could pay possibly half now and then maybe half a month from now.
So I can't split a payment on a driver safety course option, but I can give you time. A month from today, we could reschedule you to either be in court or set it up with the clerk at the window. And that's February 22nd. You can do it before that date as well. Will that work for you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm just gonna do an extension to 2/22. And we're gonna put notes in the file that while you're scheduled for pretrial that day, the expectation is that you bring the 144 plus DL plus insurance. And come to the clerk's window on or before that date to remove it from the docket. If you're coming that day, you'll need to be here at 9. Otherwise, you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
come in before then with license insurance and the 144. That begins the 90-day period to get back the course and the record. That does not start today. That starts then. Okay. Once you
Yes,
get
ma'am.
set up, we'll hand you all the paperwork that gives you everything you need to do to successfully complete it. And then you'll leave and go get it done. You can take an online course that's approved for ticket dismissal. You can get your driving record online and just print it at home or at the library and get it done. You don't have to wait the full 90 days. You can always do it right away and get it over with. Okay. But our next step is I'm just rescheduling your pretrial. That way I don't have to set him. He doesn't have to sign it, right?
Right.
That way I don't have to, I see you're in your car and I don't have to worry about the back and forth with the email and the printing and the signing and all of those things. But there'll be a note in the file when you come in that you're scheduled on or before that date to set up your driver safety course option, since there is no objection from the state.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We will see you sometime between now and then or on that day. You have questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. No, he would be live. Thank you. Okay, and Miss Ellison, Mr. Metzen, I just want to give you some background, not to embarrass Miss Ellison, but I think these are things that are important to note. She's had a lot happening. Okay, so I've even talked to her. You might recall, but at one point she was good enough to be on Zoom for court, even though she was heading into surgery. So I was talking to her and they were wheeling her out. She's had a death in the family right before that. Then she had a critical emergency. She's been recovering. Now she's still trying to work on the license. I don't know status of insurance, but she's outside the window of what we allow for window dismissals on these items. And I think she's not looking so much to challenge it as to get into compliance. I'm not going to speak for her. That's my impression from what I have written in the file from our communications. And then I'm going to let y'all see if y'all can reach resolution or get us on a path toward one.
That sounds good, Your Honor.
But if she looks like she hasn't been in court, it's really been things of that, not her doing, that have created that situation. So
Understood.
I normally don't, I'm not taking a position, but I normally don't even mention those things. But she was kind of wondering, why is she on your docket? And I said, because we're outside the window of my being able to work alone with you. So
Mhm.
let me move y'all over to that meeting. And thank you. Okay, yeah, I was a case that gets indigency. Okay.
You're out. You don't have a pre-trial on the 22nd.
Okay.
You're on a budget retreat.
That's okay. I won't send anyone else there. Okay. Normally on these, I like to set them for when I know I'm here. But I'll try to be mindful to make sure we're doing that. No, it's becomes different when I have to start like going to training and doing all those things. And I've got to pick a training date here pretty quickly. Just because I'm teaching a class doesn't mean that I'm getting my credit like I'm supposed to.
Yeah, 12 noon. It's good at 12 in front of them.
Yeah, we're trying to, on that particular day, we have court because budget doesn't start till noon, but I'm trying to keep it. I told her, let's not put a bunch of stuff. Well, we need to see, make sure Mr. Matson isn't already scheduled off somehow. And that's why we put everything on the it just may not be on there yet, opened up.
On February 22nd, I don't see a pre-trial. We just, what's still on there. But anyway, that's it. She wanted to put one on the pre-trial.
We can move him to the following.
Ryan's out.
Ah.
What? I know,
He can go to the following week. Or that the following week. Just put him on that Tuesday, even though it's on screen. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's trying to have enough money to do the thing, and so putting him backwards is not going to help him. He looked like he wasn't sure he could make it on the 22nd, so that moves into what, the 25th, or I can't, 27th. I didn't look yet. Moving Miss Ellison back over. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Let's check in.
Your Honor, I think it's fair that Miss Ellison be given a little bit more time. She has an appointment on Friday, I believe. So if we can just reset her case, the driver's license case, that would be great.
Why don't we reschedule them both?
Well, the insurance, I actually went and checked her file. She had previously submitted 6 months of insurance back in like September.
Okay.
I guess I just missed that. So I was going to move to dismiss the insurance charge.
Okay.
And then the license charge, we can just give it a little bit more time.
Okay. If I reschedule for 2 weeks, that's a Tuesday. Let me check and see our availability. That's Zoom online, and I think she's remote. Yes. So, with that date, is that enough time for you to get what you need over to Mr. Matson through the court's file system?
Yes, ma'am.
If you email we'll schedule you for us to all check in on that date. If you submit anything to the court online help email system.
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
put
That's
it
what I
in-
had did before.
Yes.
I had sent it all in through email.
Yes, we'll move it into that file for him to review, but you'll want to log in that day just unless the case has already been dismissed, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so prosecutor dismissing on the FMFR today. And then the no DL extending to Zoom on 2/6
Yes, ma'am.
at 9. And so we'll email that to your file. We'll email that to the email we have on file. Will that work?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Then it looks like we're heading to resolution. I'll sign that other dismissal today. We'll check in on the 6th with the other charge.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you.
I'm going to let you go.
Okay.